I'm recording this 8 hours after the match takes place. I still don't know how we won. At all. Welcome back to Liverpool Latest. That was certainly a game. Let me tell you something. The last 5 minutes of that match was crazy because not only in the span of that 5 minutes, the U.S. wins gold in Olympic men's hockey, and then Alexis McAllister's second goal is scored, all within about a 5-minute span. Insanity. I was at work, I work in a gym, and I'm jumping around like a freaking moron, and everyone's looking at me like I got 10 heads, like, are you alright? I'm just like, oh, yeah, men's just scored and we won, and I'm watching Liverpool on my phone. Shouldn't be admitting to that because I was at work, but what do I care? Either way, no idea how we won that game. That was a pitiful match. But we won, and that's important. But before I get into the actual match itself, let's just set the scene here. Okay? This game could not have come on a better weekend. Because prior to this match, excuse me, I'm being American, I use game and match interchangeably. Man United and Chelsea both drew for 1 point against their opponents this weekend, which made it incredibly ideal for us to take 3 points and now have a three-way tie with them on the Premier League table. So as it stands, at the end of this weekend, Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool are all tied for 45 points on the table as it stands. If we continue to keep this up and win, and United and Chelsea continue to bottle, Champions League football might be closer than we think it is next season. Although with performances like that, I highly doubt it. But needless to say, going into this game, I was very excited given the other scenarios that were going on. Unfortunately, not everything I wanted to happen happened because Tottenham, being the absolute dog shit Northern London franchise they are, lost to Arsenal in brutal fashion once again. So, to the shock of absolutely nobody, they are still at the top of the Premier League, with Man City chasing close behind, 61-56 on the table right now. Now, I was excited for this game, and I was excited for the potential of what lineup we were going to get. Unfortunately, I was unaware of certain scenarios happening after the initial starting lineup was announced. The original starting lineup was supposed to be Alisson, Kirkez, Van Dijk, Konate, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Gakpo, Wirtz, Salah, and Ekitike. Unfortunately, one of those names does not match what was officially on the field. And that was Florian Wirtz, who was replaced by Curtis Jones before the match even started. Because apparently, somehow, some way, I am not sure how this happened, what happened. Keep in mind, I'm at work, so I'm hearing all of this as the game is happening because I started 10 minutes late. And I'm listening, I'm like, wait, where's Wirtz? Where is he? Why is he on the field? Turns out somehow he messed his back up in warm-ups. And now I'm sitting here like, oh, Jesus, we are screwed. We are totally fucked. And there is no way in hell that we are going to come back from this because I like Curtis Jones. He's been doing very well for us this season. And he had a pretty solid game from an offensive perspective. But, yeah, I would have preferred Wirtz in that position, 100%. I just hope he's okay. Because if it's any player we need, it's Wirtz. If it's any player we need, it's him. There's no other way around it. He's been one of our best players this season. He's been probably one of our most consistent players for the last several months now. Him and Szoboszlai are an absolute godsend. Now, what I don't understand is why didn't we just move Szoboszlai to midfield and put Jones at right back? That I question. I would have preferred to have Szoboszlai in the midfield and had Joe Gomez or Jones at right back, but what do I know? I'm not Arne Slot, and apparently Slot thinks he knows everything. So, all in all, as far as I know, it's some sort of back tweak or back injury. That's the last I have read. Apparently, it's not serious. If I have an update come tomorrow, I will present it to you on Liverpool Latest. Now let's talk about the match itself. That was certainly a game. That was one of the games of all time. On paper, on the stat sheet, this game is a lot more even than I think what we watched on the screen today. Shots, 18-10. Shots on target, 4-2 in favor of Liverpool. By the way, the 18 was in favor of Forest. Possession, somehow 53% in favor of Liverpool. Passes, 417 to 414 in favor of Liverpool. Accuracy, slight margin to Nottingham Forest, 87% to 84. We had less fouls, 13 to 9. Yellow cards, Forest had 2, we had none. No red cards were given. 1 offside per team, and corners 7-2 for Forest. On paper, this is more or less a relatively even game. What we saw on the field was drastically different, okay? If you're going by stats and numbers, you're going to think like, okay, it was bound that Liverpool was probably going to win this. No. That first half might have been one of the worst first halves of football I have seen since becoming a Liverpool fan several years ago. That was terrible. Awful. Abysmal. I have no words outside of those. It's like if I was watching myself from third person getting repeatedly kicked in the nuts over and over again. It was like watching Punch the Monkey getting repeatedly neglected, beat down by its troop, and it breaks your heart. Yes, I'm a fan of Punch the Monkey. I love that little thing. But I certainly did not love that performance. That's what this was like. That's what that first half was like watching. It was like watching Punch the Monkey this entire week getting absolutely mauled by the older monkeys in the troop. It was bad. The second half was much better. We performed a lot better, a little bit better defensively, better offensively for sure, because frankly, we had absolutely no offense in that first half. What I don't understand is why were we giving them... We were not strong on the ball at all. I feel like we were so weak on that ball, and we were allowing them to batter us in our side of the field. That was miserable to watch, okay? I cannot fathom, because like this entire time I'm watching this game and I'm like, why are we looking so weak right now? Like, these guys are fit, strong athletes, and we are getting bullied around on the ball. And not only that, we're not even trying to make plays on the ball. And the reason I say that is because there were multiple times, I can't name any particular one, but there were multiple times where I'm watching the game and there's a pass to one of our guys. Liverpool makes a pass to someone else in the field, in the midfield. And what should be a hustle to get the ball turns out that they could be like 5 feet away, and Forest is about roughly the same distance away, and Forest is running to make a play for the ball, and they get it, and thus we have to start a whole defensive system all over again when we just got out of one. So it was just repeatedly like that all day, 90 minutes of that practically. I don't know what we were on today, but it was certainly not good. We needed a senzu bean after that. That was bad. What I will say is if there is any person who deserves the goal today, it is Alexis McAllister. I know McAllister has been pretty shit all season. Actually, everybody was shit today. Salah was shit. Gakpo was shit. And don't get me wrong, I didn't talk about it today, but I will talk about it tomorrow with the whole Mo Salah thing, because I did see what people were talking about when he got subbed off the field. We're going to talk about that, just not today. So stay tuned for tomorrow. McAllister, for as shit as he's been all season, is a pit bull. He has a pit bull mentality. This man will not go down. This man is a physical South American Argentinian player. This man will practically die on the field if he has to. And he was willing to do that on more than one occasion today. Especially in those last several minutes of the match where they got a goal. Somehow, some way, they got a goal off a rebound from the keeper. Where, honestly, Ekitike probably should have made it in the first place, but thus it was saved. And McAllister, it bounces off of him, and it goes into the net, and everybody's losing their shit. And you think, like, oh my god, this is what happens. We won. Like, it's the end of the game, practically. We got this. VAR determined that it was not a goal because it bounced off the elbow of McAllister. Now, look. I'm not going to sit here and say that VAR is necessarily wrong. I know a lot of people are upset about that decision, myself included. I'm very upset about that decision because I have seen a lot worse not called. I have seen flat out arms stuck out and the ball hits it and it's not called a handball. So you mean to tell me an accidental ricochet where McAllister is actively trying to move his body away from the ball, and it just so happens to bounce off his, like, back of his arm, elbow, back area, where you can't necessarily really determine in real time what happened unless you actually go back. And does it kind of bounce off the back of the elbow? A little bit. I also think it could bounce off a little bit of the back, too. The angle is a little bit odd from... One of the angles is odd enough where it's like it could have been anything. It looks more like it's on the elbow, but I don't know, honestly. I'll be frank, I don't know. I have seen a lot worse not called, and the fact that that was called a no-goal to me was shocking. Because I think with McAllister actively trying to pivot away, I would think it's not as bad of an issue. I've seen guys stick their whole ass arms out, and that doesn't get called a handball by VAR or any of the on-field refs. So... VAR, Macca giveth, VAR taketh away. But then, a short time later, an extra time, Macca giveth again, and this time the goal stands, even with another VAR review, which could have resulted in an offside because they were looking at Van Dijk on the play because Van Dijk was the last person to touch the ball. I'm going to be honest with you. If that ball was offside, I would have just lost it. I would have lost it if that ball was offside. Thank God they determined it wasn't. Thank God VAR got that one right. And we caught a break, and we ended up getting that goal. And McAllister, in the 97th minute, scores to basically guarantee us the victory. And the 3 points, much needed 3 points to start this, what is a pretty easy schedule for us to have over these next 4 games now. Maybe a little bit more. So, I'm going to be honest with you. Was this a great game? No. Was it a great moment? Yes. I'm just thankful that something went in. I'm just thankful that Allison made the saves he had to make to prevent Nottingham from scoring, because the fact that Nottingham didn't score is a shock in itself. They should have won this game 5 times over before those Macca goals even took place. The fact that they didn't, they need to look at themselves in the mirror and say, what the fuck did we do wrong? So, to Nottingham Forest, fair play to you. It was a great match on your end. I got nothing but love. Well, not really. I frankly hate you guys, but I got nothing but love in the sense where, all is fair in love and war, and somehow, some way, Arnslot finally gets his win over Forest, and we sit here with 3 points, and we move on to the next game, which I don't think there's a Champions League game this week. I actually don't even know what our next match is. I'm gonna go look that up. Oh, Saturday at 10 a.m. That's the West Ham game. Well, shit. I can only hope to God that that's gonna be a win. Because if we lose to West Ham, sell the team. Sell the team. Good God. But anyhow, that's enough ranting. I appreciate you guys being here with me today. Follow the channel, subscribe, join the Liverpool Latest family, leave a like and comment. When you're part of the channel, just know you never walk alone.